So Darren, it has been quite a journey, right, for Caliber?
It has been.
Starting in Nicaragua and now expanding to Nevada and Newfoundland.
It's probably worthwhile to take a minute and just talk through the journey that we've been on over the last 4 years. Caliber converted itself or reinvented itself from a prospect generator explorer in 2019 when it partnered with B2 Gold on purchasing the assets here in Nicaragua. And at that point, as we're all aware, there was somewhat a limited future at Libertad. Changing the philosophy on how things were managed here in Nicaragua, what we've been able to do is from that humble beginnings is grow production 30% compounded annually each year. We've concurrently increased reserves 370% over the last 4 years. And we've built cash from basically zero to $86 million at the end of the last year after the $40 million private placement into Marathon Gold. So how have we been able to do that? And we can talk about sustainability, and we can talk about production growth, and we can talk about strategy, but it's probably important to think about all of that as one thing.
Right.
A lot of people will talk about sustainability, and I think there's a risk that some organizations weaponize the word, and it becomes something to be fearful of, as opposed to integral in the way we do business. And whether we think about it in terms of providing a safe work environment, or whether we think about it in terms of being good neighbours, whether we think about it in terms of delivering on the commitments we make to our stakeholders, the government, the communities, I think it's all of those things that encapsulate in. So it's really about a frame of mind of how the business is managed.
And that interaction that you just mentioned with the community, with the authorities, with your stakeholders, it's probably key to that successful sustainability performance as well.
That interaction is key. We can talk about it, whether we're here in Nicaragua, or whether we're in Newfoundland, or whether we're in Nevada. It doesn't matter where we are in the world, but there will be continual change. There'll be changes in policy at a government level. There'll be changes in political parties. But the environments we work within in terms of the communities and that social fabric will always remain.
That puts a lot of focus on the engagement with your neighbors, with the host communities, and engagement in the sense that almost inviting them being part of the development of the development of our business, but at the same time the contributions that development of our business can give to the community, and how we actually make them the real participants of that development path that we visualize as a company, because our success becomes the success of the community.
And it's listening to the stakeholders, understanding what they want, and then how best we can support them in that desire. And I think we've been very effective here in Nicaragua because we do have a good rapport. We take the time to listen and engage.
So Darren, as we were discussing, there is something in common between the 3 different jurisdictions where we operate, and that is the presence of the indigenous communities.
I guess probably the biggest risk I would say is assuming what we do in one jurisdiction works somewhere else, right? I think that the only thing that is truly transportable jurisdiction to jurisdiction is taking the time to listen and understand, engage with, understand what it is that is important to those individual groups.
One important part of the process of engaging with the communities, with the indigenous communities in particular, is the free, prior and informed consent, which we have been, as a company, we have a strong commitment here in Nicaragua. That gives a certain formality to the process, but behind that, in the end, as you said, is taking the time, having the conversation, having the dialogue, because that will allow to define the things that are important for both parties. In the sustainability space, what we need and what we have put in practice is a certain required discipline in this space as well, starting from building our own strategy, then executing the strategy, measuring our success, etc. Being able to execute, to monitor, to evaluate, and report also what we are doing with the community, right?
If we think about the journey we've had over the last few years is that sustainability was a thing that was implemented, enforced upon the organisation.
Right.
Well, it's not. It's almost like a way of being.
Integral part of the business.
It's about our DNA. It's about how we do things. So if we're going to be sustainable, it means is that we've got to understand what it is that people want, how is we're going to deliver it, and then we deliver into it. And if we think about the journey here of Calibre, when we initiated this transaction in 2019, our vision has always been to create a quality mid-tier producer. And through delivering into our commitments, being steadfast in the way we behave, it's allowed us to do that.
With this recent acquisition in Newfoundland, do you see that our positive reputation in sustainability added value in that process?
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, if we hadn't delivered for 17 quarters into Calibre 2.0, if we think about it pre-transaction, we wouldn't have had the wherewithal to be able to make this transaction happen, right? It's those 17 quarters of not disappointing, which allowed us to. How did we do that? Because we had the support of our stakeholders to be able to, right? And we can talk about geopolitical risk, and Nicaragua has a perception of a level of geopolitical risk, which is different than Nevada or different than Western Australia. But how many single asset producers in those jurisdictions have delivered for 17 consecutive quarters without disappointing? Right? So you look at this and you go, this is a very good jurisdiction to operate in. Why is it a good jurisdiction to operate in? Because we've established ourselves with our stakeholders to be able to do that.
One important part of Calibre's present is the growth, our expansion to new jurisdictions, etc., and becoming more international, becoming more global company. And part of that is, of course, our commitments with the formal institutions within the mining industry, like the World Gold Council, like the Mining Association of Canada, which kind of continue challenging us with their standards.
We believe we're doing the right things. However, having those frameworks in place ensures that we do. That's good for us, and that's what I look at it as. And then secondly, it's also good to be able to promote what we are doing so that people can see us as a valuable and a great opportunity to create wealth. Very, very appreciative of MAC and World Gold Council and the other industry bodies for allowing us to be participants in, because like I say, it helps keep us honest, and they provide excellent framework for us to be able to assess. So it's creating that constructive tension within the organisation to be able to ensure that we continue to challenge, to look at the way we do business and look for opportunities to improve. And it will, it will improve the way we do business, and will also reduce the risk. At the end of the day, Calibre is a financial instrument, and we're here to create shareholder value. And we're going to do that through the safe and responsible mining of gold. That's our business. And create that sustainable approach to how we do, because that's going to give us our business advantage. It's looking for that long-term sustainable approach to positively impacting what it is we believe is important to us, and doing it in a way that embodies in our culture and the way we do our business.